Well, Lions fans, it is official. We kind of thought that maybe something would be was in the works. I'm not going to say retirement, but I will say maybe a new contract. It was talks that Frank Ragnow hadn't been around because he wanted a new contract. Coach Dan Campbell came out and said that the lines of communication were open with Ragnow, but it seems that the line of communication had to do with him wanting to retire. And I have to believe that Frank put it out there for Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell to know. I don't think that he just out the clear blue decided to retire. I think he told them that he was thinking about it. He was considering retirement. And that's what he went ahead and did. I was checking my Lions news earlier, as I usually do, and I saw that Frank Ragnow was retiring. I didn't believe it at first. I wanted to get some more credible sources. Then I kept checking and found some and found it to be true. Let's look at a little bit of what this ESPN article says. Detroit Lions center Frank Ragnow, a four-time Pro Bowl selection in his 7 NFL seasons, announced his retirement on social media Monday. It says that these past couple of months have been very trying as I've come to the realization that my football journey is ending and I'm officially retiring from the NFL. Ragnow posted to Instagram, I've tried to convince myself that I'm feeling good, but I'm not. And it's time to prioritize my health and my family's future. I have given this team everything I have, and I thought I had more to give, but the reality is I simply don't. So Frank Ragnow is 29. If I'm not mistaken, by the time the season rolls around, he would have been 30. And he is leaving the Lions with literally a hole in the center of their offense. Now, I think that this is a very big deal that Ragnow is retiring 3 months before the season starts. He was arguably the best offensive lineman on the team. I know that Penei Sewell is one of the best in the NFL, but Frank Ragnow is definitely, just my opinion, I'm not being biased, the best center in the NFL. He has been that for the last few years, and he is retiring in his prime. He says that that the time is now, and he's thinking about his family and his future. So we do have to talk about what is going to go on from here. What will the Lions do? Now, I did read from a different report earlier that rookie Tate Ratledge was getting a lot of reps at center in OTAs and now in minicamp. And I believe that the reason for that is because the Lions had an idea that Ragnow may be retiring. Their thoughts probably was, just in case he doesn't, we'll still get this young man some reps. If he does, he'll be ready to move in at center. If he doesn't, fair enough. We now have Ragnow. Now, Ratledge, in my opinion, he was going to start anyway. I think he was going to start at the right guard spot, but now it seems that he may be taking over at center. Let's don't forget that Graham Glasgow also can play center. So we do have someone who can replace Frank Ragnow on paper, but can these guys fill in and replace Ragnow when the lights are on and it's time to make that Super Bowl run with that first game in Green Bay week 1? That I'm not sure of. Now, what I do know about Ratledge is that I read that he's played center, but I don't know if he's actually played center the last few years when he was at Georgia. There may be something he did earlier, but now they're moving him back to center. Graham, we know he's played center before. So when you really think about who's going to step in at center, you have to have a guy who is cagey, who can command the huddle, who can get in there and run the offense. So I'm not 100% sure that a rookie who was a guard the last few years, who mainly played a guard the last few years, is the guy to step in and do that? Or do you put Graham over there, a veteran? Graham is in his early 30s. He's at the end of his prime. He can maybe run the center spot this first year, with Ratledge being the guy in 2026, or maybe Ratledge does just that good of a job all this summer to where the Lions put him in that center spot. So this is potentially what the offense could be looking like. We could be looking at Taylor Decker at left tackle. That's fine. He's been here since he came into the league, and he's a solid left tackle. You put Glasgow at left guard. You put the rookie Ratledge at center. On the right side of him, you put Mahogany, or you switch Mahogany to guard, or if the young man out of LSU who we took in the fourth, what was it, the 4th or 5th round, maybe he does good enough where he slides into that spot. But basically, and I'm sorry, y'all, I just literally had a brain freeze. That's why I called him the young man. His name literally just slipped my mind. But between him, Glasgow, and Ratledge, you will have your starting guards, and then of course you have all-world all-league right tackle Penei Sewell. So I do think that this is going to hurt the Lions a lot, but depending on how they position these guys, it may not set the Lions back at all. All right, Lions fans, what is your thought on this? The great Frank Ragnow, and I'm going to call him that, the great Frank Ragnow. He's the best Lions center ever. When I was watching the Lions back in the 90s, Kevin Glover was the best center we ever had, but absolutely Ragnow has surpassed him. Ragnow is the best center the Lions ever had, and now he is riding off into the sunset. So give us your thoughts on Frank Ragnow. What did you think about his career? What do you think about him retiring in the prime of his career? And what are your thoughts on who will replace him on the offensive line for the Lions in 2025? All right, if you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so we can keep talking Lions football and everything else that we do. You see our Twitter right there on the page. If you haven't, go and give us a follow over there as well. Give us your thoughts on this one, Lions fans. Until next time, peace.